The review was recording. Welcome to Off the Chest Podcast. I can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's just too long.
He's just not a dwarf.
It takes so much time. Just like this movie, man.
Man, this movie.
This movie, man, it rocks. But you know what? Why am I rushing into things? Tim, welcome
What
back.
up? Thank you.
Yeah, and welcome to Off the Chest Podcast, everybody. I got Dwarf Man Anjo.
Yo.
I got Dwarf Secondary Unit.
Dwarf.
Well, you are a midget.
Alright.
Tim.
Hello. Whatever.
And I am Dwarf Midget, not leader, Harry Rakesh.
Beer belly, etc.
Not really that big.
Nah.
But we are reviewing The Hobbit.
Oh my god.
The Hobbit. Yeah, it's one of the biggest ways to end 2012. And honestly, on such a great movie.
Wait. Are we reviewing An Unexpected Journey or all three Hobbits at once?
Oh, there and back again. No.
Oh, wait, they're not out yet.
Yes. The one that kind of got a little bit of controversy for splitting the book into 3 movies.
Which makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Days milking it, man.
But I do kind of like it at the same time because that means you get to get more of the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the three Lord of the Rings were fine.
Oh yeah, but there was so much content lost.
Yeah, I know, but they were still awesome.
They're still good, yeah.
I think that, honestly, they have parts in this book. I haven't actually read all of it. I've just been reading
haven't read it.
summations, but apparently there are little parts where things are just mentioned, and honestly, it can be brought into its own movie in a way. But a little bit more on that
Wait,
later.
Kesh, break it down.
I'll break it down for you. This movie, when it originally starts, I was surprised with its intro because it starts seconds or like minutes before Fellowship of the Ring.
It's Frodo.
I know. You little
Shit.
special guest appearance by him. It was quite a shock. It starts off with just planning Bilbo's party, and what it's done in is obviously Bilbo narrating to begin with his book, and we flash back to
Back in time.
and then
Back to that handsomer.
yes,
little face.
handsomer, slimmer Bilbo Baggins.
I wouldn't say handsomer.
Right, you liked him better as an old man.
like them old beards. I got a thing for Gandalf. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, you know, Bilbo, he's there smoking his weed, and then all of a sudden Gandalf appears. He's like, "Man, you look like the guy." He's like, "What do you mean I look like the guy?" "You're the guy." And he's like, "What?" And then,
Good evening.
He's like, "I want you off of my property, mister.
Well, good morning or good evening?
Good morning.
I want you off of my property, mister." But not in that accent. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, his house has become gate crashed by a bunch of dwarves.
Dude, Gandalf, he's like someone you look up to. Graffiti is on his door.
And
What the hell? It's invisible graffiti.
Gandalf,
Tagging.
the original
and
prankster.
then within a moment of within a few moments, his house turns into Project X. I mean, there is beer flying everywhere. Everyone's just trashing his place. He tries to join in on the party, but they're all just, we don't want you. We want to sing our karaoke to ourselves.
Karaoke.
It pretty much is. That's what they do. I mean, apparently, according to
I mean,
this,
they flip out the screen, they chuck in the disc, they type in the number, and they just go at it.
and then they have to wait for the lyrics to pop up before they start. And their screen is actually the fire pit that they read off. And basically, this starts with Gandalf explaining, finding I think it's a 14th member or
Yes,
14th member of the
Wait,
platoon
yes,
to retake. I can't remember honestly. It's been such a long time. Yeah, 13 or 14. But to retake the dwarves' original homeland, Elabor, which has been invaded by Smog. Evil. And I don't know why they call him evil. I mean, he seems pretty cool to me. I love dragons.
I think he just wants a place to stay.
Yeah. guys, where's everyone gone?
He didn't have a home, so he took the dwarves home. Now the dwarves don't have a home. They're going to take back their home. Why don't they live in harmony? Why don't they live with the dragon?
Basically, Bilbo, he's like, man, I'm living in a rut. So he joins along with them, and
Originally, he doesn't want to.
yeah, and then eventually he does, which is kind of a play on him, but I think there's an area for greater exploration. But it definitely, in this film, it really references him missing his home a lot. And this movie alone, it kind of covers a lot of the book already. Well, they've done half the story.
I wouldn't know.
They travel to Rivendell, and then they go into the mines, see cute little Smeagol slash Gollum there playing around with it. And basically, Anjo, what did you think?
The movie.
No, not of the movie, of life. Yes, of the movie.
You know, life is great.
Son of a bitch.
We can't all sit around watching Judge Dredd all day. I mean, Dredd. So yeah, what did you think, young sir?
It was good, but there were some parts I thought went a bit too long.
Ah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I did quite enjoy it. I was like, oh, nice scenery.
This movie has amazing visual effects.
It is Lord of the Rings.
Anything else, Anjo, in regards to it?
No, I quite entirely enjoyed it. I just wish, I don't know. There's just some parts I just wish was just a bit shorter.
I was speaking to Tim about this earlier before, where the first hour is kind of the biggest drag of the movie, but
First hour and a half, I'd say.
it's the moment when
This is a 3 hour movie.
yeah,
right?
this is nearly a
Yeah,
3 hour movie, and
Because the first part was too slow.
yeah, I don't want to see the extended version of this. How long it'll actually go for? Oh, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy extended that.
No, they're extended. There's way a lot
It's
more.
actually really epic. But the part where the two wizards, Gandalf and I forget the other guy's name, but
The brown.
you know the part where when those two first meet and the orcs are then hunting them down. I think from that moment forward, that's when I was thoroughly into the movie.
Enjoying
That's
it.
when
Yeah,
I thought this is good, this is epic.
When I think it was when the Bilbo met them trolls.
Oh yeah, that was definitely an intense scene. And,
Within the mountain.
yeah, one thing I do like about Bilbo more than Frodo is that Bilbo actually gets involved.
Bilbo actually does stuff.
He actually fights
He's
trolls.
a scared.
He fights the orcs.
Instead of just, ring.
He's not a little bitch. But earlier when I was saying that the one part that they can expand upon is when Gandalf mentions the necromancer. I think that would be a great thing. Maybe in the second one, if it's involved in that, that little fella.
So this is a 3-part movie. Right?
It is, and honestly, 2 movies would be better.
Depends how they do it, though.
That means we don't get to see the dragon for the last one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tim, what did you think?
Hi.
Don't you think they're a little bit lazy on the dragons? You know, purposely not showing us a full view.
Well, yeah, that's so you're not. That teases
No, it's
you.
money.
It's building up the momentum. But yeah, anything to elaborate on, Tim?
There's just some of the scenes just took way too long. Like you know when after they get captured by all the trolls, you have the scene where Frodo plays with Smeagol.
Not Frodo, Bilbo.
Frodo.
I mean, not Frodo, Bilbo.
Yeah, Frodo.
Damn it, Mr. Frodo. But yeah, like that took like probably like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
just them two. While above them, all this crap's happening, and it's just him going
What do you
along.
mean? The riddle bell?
Yeah,
That's an integral part of the book. That riddle bell in the book lasted for days and then.
Honestly, the riddle part was probably one of my favorite moments in the entire movie. That was purely epic.
But you think it took too long, that riddle?
no, because they could at least have like cut between
Oh,
them
between
doing
the
the riddle
action and the riddle.
dwarves above them. It's just, but it was just a constant.
I could have used more riddles. I
Yeah,
thoroughly
yeah.
enjoyed that enough. And somebody, for the love of God, please give Andy Serkis some kind of nomination for playing Gollum in such a fantastic way. Wow, was a process. I think he is one of the greatest parts to this entire series, and I'm not too sure how if they do it further on, but I would like to see Gollum come back into the other two movies, but I don't think he will be. But then again, Andy Serkis is a producer on this anyway. But yeah, I definitely think there's definitely a lot of room to expand on that. But then again, it's expanding too much.
Gandalf looks too old.
He looks older than when he first.
Yeah.
He felt refreshed after the journey.
It's like,
This movie starts and ends in a very similar way to Fellowship of the Ring, where obviously, you're starting off in the Shire, but then this movie ends, spoiler alert, well, this is a spoiler review.
Already
Yeah.
spoiled how many?
How this movie ends with them looking on a cliff, looking onto Erebor, and I was like, wow, that's exactly like with Fellowship of the Ring, how they're looking
yeah.
onto Mount Doom, and just how that ends in such a way. But I can't remember who the main orc villain is, but I was really enjoying
Oh, the white orc.
the white orc, how
it's racist, but
yeah.
Oh, the orc?
How the white dwarf and the white orc, how they have this rivalry. I think that was also another great part, and I liked that they didn't leave it where they were killing off the leader or that main villain, because I'm definitely excited to see them go at it again. One thing I didn't like is that they didn't kill off any of the dwarves. They still have all the dwarves with them.
So, Lord of the Rings, only lost was
because
Boromir.
damn badass.
Only lost was Boromir, man. There's like only one member
One
dead.
must not simply kill Boromir. But I still figured, like,
Technically, Gandalf did die.
in this movie, it would have kind of added some emotional development if at least one of them died.
There's still emotional.
It's still early. It's still early in the movie because it's.
In regards to Bilbo and the group.
I think that at least with one film, you can at least kill off one character. Maybe, yeah.
I did find some things stupid,
Yeah.
like the giant eagles.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why didn't they do that before? Yeah, in the first part, why didn't they just get him right?
That's something that people have wondered in the in the Lord of the Rings series, but then I like to argue the fact that there's Mount Doom and the Eye. Yeah,
But this one doesn't.
I know.
The eagles dropped them at a rock so far away.
I suppose them at the rock was for them to kind of restore their health and their energy.
Could have dropped them closer.
Yeah. One part I felt a little long was their part in Rivendell, and actually, and then you see Saruman there again, and it kind of seems like he's playing him. It doesn't it? It kind of seems like he's playing them in a way where he was just being so negative,
Yeah.
and how he's saying about the
He's just shrugging off everything.
shrugging off, and even the part where Gandalf presents the sword, and how the elvish sword, and then he was just like, oh well, yeah, we didn't care. How do you know this could possibly be real? I don't know. I think also that part we could have kind of the descent of Saruman as well. I think that'd be something.
Yeah, but the story's not about him.
I know, but if you're expanding it into 3 movies, why not?
This is about the mountain.
No, but still, why not have like
Mountain, dwarfs, and dragon. Saruman's not part of this.
Why not? God damn it!
Why so serious?
Wrong trilogy. Yeah, I don't know. Any other parts that you really hated or really loved?
Like I said, I enjoyed the movie.
I still think graffiti's wrong.
I really did enjoy the technology on Gollum himself. I mean, they really sharpen up his quality on that. And I think one thing we can't go without mentioning is the new frame rate issue. Now, I watched this in the 24 frames, not the 48, but did either of you guys see it in 48?
No.
Anjo? Nah?
So, I wouldn't know. It's in the movies.
Yeah, I know, but I think one of the theaters near us was playing it in 48. I want to see what the big controversy is about this because apparently 48 frames makes it look like a TV show. Yeah. Oh well, I guess we'll be back for more in other parts, won't we? Yeah, but it's definitely interesting to see what's happening and what's gonna happen next. Any predictions?
They're gonna get that mountain.
They're gonna slay them dragon.
I thought one thing when the movie first starts and you're having that great introduction, I was like, oh my god, dragon! Let me see a peek. I want to see the dragon. No, you see its eye. That's the only part you see. And
You
I'm
see
like,
its foot at the
oh
start.
man, I freaking love dragons. I want to see more. I think it would have been cool to have seen at least a little bit of the dragon.
I also like to talk with them orcs under the ground. The big guy.
The white orc.
No, the big one. The troll? No, not the troll.
Is that
the
a
one
troll?
When they're underground. Remember the guy with the beard-like skin?
Oh, the dwarf, not the orc.
No.
No.
Giant fat dude with the crown and the...
Remember he sliced his stomach? That will do it.
Any other part?
That guy was
Yeah?
cool. Yeah.
He was disgusting.
Yeah, he was, but it's very articulate.
Obviously, another great score to this as well. But not as impressive as the Lord of the Ring, the original Lord of the
It
Rings
suited
trilogy.
everything that happened though.
But do you feel like comparing this to Lord of the Rings is justifiable? Because this is its own story, and as you see in this movie, the ring is kind of a footnote. It's not really its own main arc. But I think the biggest problem is that your main audience is, because they've all seen Lord of the Rings. It's one of the highest grossing franchises, but everyone's gonna walk into this movie and expecting it. If there's anything I can offer to anyone and they haven't seen this movie, is don't hold up to the expectations of Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King, because they're on their own caliber. They're spectacular, but I don't know. Yeah, this is just completely different. It's a lower story, and it's supposed to be more of a lighthearted story. This is, yeah. Ratings time, fellas. Yes, Anjo. Scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst, 10 being the best.
Or 1 out of 20 if
And-
you're being a dick.
Yeah, if you're gonna be an asshole. But I want you to give me your number and justifying why you just give it that number and you're not giving it any other points.
I'm giving it I'd say 8.5.
8.5. So
Because as much as I do enjoy it, there are parts where you're just looking at the screen and your mind goes blank.
yeah.
Duh.
Feel like it's.
Yeah, but you still enjoy it because it looks so pretty. But you're like,
Especially at the original dinner party. Like, come on, they could have used sharp editing and cut some parts out there. I felt that kind of went on a little bit too long.
you're singing.
No, that was fine.
No, when they all start singing about what Bilbo Baggins hates.
Yeah, but I think that the parts leading up to that, especially the introduction of all the other dwarves, that could have been done in a little bit of a quicker way.
Well, you need to show their personality.
Yeah, but they don't need to show it for that long. But also, that being said, you don't really see the personality of the other dwarves.
No, you don't.
And you only get minimal of the leader, and whereas this story is supposed to be surrounded around Bilbo, but you've kind of exhausted as much story as you possibly can from him, but there's definitely room for expansion, especially when they go to fight the dragon.
That's why there's another 2 movies.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
man.
are you
So we got a lot
serious?
more.
I thought that was the end of it. I was like, where's my dragon?
Did you stay till the end so that you could see Nick Fury come along? Would you like to be part of the Avengers?
No. No, just that bit where it wakes up.
Yeah, where the dragon wakes up, and then Nick Fury comes. Would you like to be part of the Avengers? Tim. You don't want it to be part of the Avengers, do you?
No, I don't.
And your number.
Well, I don't know. It's because I reckon you probably could cram it all into one film.
You could, yeah, but a lot of things will be missing.
Well, why don't you just make it a 9-hour film? God. That being said, the acting was great. You didn't get much of the other dwarves though. Like you get a bit of the archer, whatever his name is.
You would have liked to have seen at least more introduction between each of the dwarves, and you don't really get a feeling of how they interact with one another. I mean, sure, you know that they have this rich back history,
Like brothers.
but like you don't really see how they perform as they are brothers and stuff like that. Definitely when this movie ends, how Lita and Bilbo finally get along after the main guy's been hating on him for so long. So, sorry, what was your number again?
I haven't put a number yet.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Say Hobbit gets an 8.
An 8.
Would you say 8.5 if you remember the part where the dwarf throws the sausage to the fat dwarf and he falls?
Nope. You do kind of see them working together, like mostly like at the very start where they're all chucking the dishes around.
It's more arrogance on his part. Like he doesn't really want Bilbo to come along at all. But yeah, it's only through Gandalf, and definitely room to see where it goes. But so other than your obvious other reasons, any reasons why it's just an 8, not those other 2 points?
Because when I was watching it, it was 2 hours into the movie. I was like, oh, how are they gonna wrap this up? Like,
And that's the thing with the Lord of the Rings movie, it's not gonna wrap it up.
I know, but it's just.
Actually, when I first saw Fellowship of the Ring, I just thought it was one movie. I'd never heard of the books before, and
You watched it
yeah,
and you're like,
and I was like, wait, who owns a movie like this? And the concept of trilogies had never entered my mind before. I knew nothing about them, so it was definitely cool to see that. Our dearly departed Melvin, who's no longer here in our vicinity. I think
There's his grave.
when I originally saw the movie with him, he gave it a 7.5 on first reaction. I don't know if he's gonna feel higher or lower about it.
Maybe you should call him.
We should call him up.
all the way in India.
He's too busy changing light bulbs to answer the phone.
But he's got a headset on.
Just close the window to his taxi. We're off color. We're allowed to make fun.
What about you?
I'm pretty much there exactly where you guys. I mimic everything you guys say, your criticisms, your favoritisms to it. But overall, I was originally thinking a 7.5, but the more I think about it, this is definitely a 8 out of 10 for me. The parts that let me down is some of the character features on their face. Looked a little bit rubbery at parts.
Oh yeah,
The
and
noses.
stuff.
It looked really kind of rubbery and fakeish, but definitely just Gollum himself. He looks so great, and that riddles part alone was definitely epic. But yeah, parts where it does let me down is like I can understand this being 2 films. 3 is my big problem with it. Yeah, that's
But we'll find out how much story they cram in the second.
yeah, definitely a lot more room for entry there. But everybody, if you did like this, please give it a like, hit subscribe to see all our
If you didn't
videos.
like it, give it a thumbs down.
No, give it a thumbs up. Don't listen to him. Please share this video as well. Give it to people. If there's also, I started a new thing where if you guys want any movies for us to review, please write down the movie in the comments or go to our Facebook page, give that a like, and any suggestions on topics for our podcast or any movie reviews or TV that you want us to do, just comment along and we'll see what we can do when we can get to it. That's it, folks. Good day to you, sir.